Hey everyone, welcome back to the first round back nine footage of the 2017 Jonesboro Open. Big German commentary team here. Jeremy Koling joined with Simon Lizotte.
We are glad to be back. It's Ricky and Germ and Chris and myself on the back nine. We've been all shooting all right so far. Chris had a slow start, but he's getting in the groove, so let's see if we can keep it going.
And hole 10's a sweet par 3 here. Nice little forehand setup or soft backhand anhyzer. Really tricky hole though for me. The low ceiling makes it difficult to get the distance that you'd like without... you'd like to throw maybe a mid-range in this hole, but the ceiling really prevents that, I feel like.
This is a typical par 3 that's like a par is fine.
Yeah, and Ricky... I don't know what he threw. He threw like a spaceship. Like that's the fastest thing I've ever seen in my life. He rips through that gap.
Yeah, that disc was just flattened out and just didn't move. It just stayed straight.
In all of my practice shots, not one of them went past this basket. Even though it's 360 feet, it's just a difficult distance. And this is not what you want either. Not even close. About 65 feet away from the basket.
Yeah, and the basket is elevated too on a little hill. So, you don't want to be running 60-footers at this one.
No. And Chris challenges the ceiling up there. Not really what you want to do because you'll leave you these kind of approaches, and you don't want to do that because that leaves you those kind of putts. And this is kind of a no-brainer situation here.
I gave you the chicken sound on this one, but you didn't hear it.
You gave me the chicken sound?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Well, Ricky's not a chicken. He's going for it, just barely over the top. And going for this putt is just scary, no matter where you are. And I don't know, how do you even decide to go for that from your knee from 50 feet?
I mean, one thing is I was on my knee. Another thing is I had a headwind, and that just makes me feel comfortable that my disc won't fly past it.
And Chris, unfortunately, is going to be dropping a stroke, and Ricky's going to be tapping in. But yeah, with the basket elevated, I mean, just it being on the mound alone is difficult. But having it elevated and on the mound, and you're 50 feet away, I was just thinking to myself, this guy's crazy pants. And I think we're about to see a...
Whoa!
What do you give that?
That was a 10.
A 10? All right, a 10 on my tap-in.
Style points, I like it.
So... one of the harder holes to birdie in the course, so not really surprised to see that we had 3 pars and a bogey. But that was a great hole.
We made that hole look a little harder than it is, actually.
Well, we're about to make this hole look interesting because this is a pretty straightforward shot. Mm-hmm. Right down the middle, land over here in the cut grass, and then you throw a turnover or a sidearm approach.
This is a cool hole.
Yeah, it is a pretty cool hole, and pretty much there's only one way to play it. Just go down the middle, or what are you doing? What are you thinking here?
That's a funny story. You know who showed me this line?
I can't even imagine.
Andrew Rich.
Wow.
I walked up, and he was on the tee and asked if I saw that line. And he said, it's so easy.
We literally played the hole 90 degrees. Like, you played it a completely different direction. And I think the rest of us were just like, what the heck is he thinking here? But...
yeah, and when I saw I was playing with you the first round, then I was like, oh, I can't wait to see his face.
Well, I was making a funny one. And this approach, or this tee shot, puts me in a difficult approach spot, a little bit further than I wanted to be from the basket, but Chris is throwing a really nice turnover here, just around the corner, maybe a bit tight, but...
oh, ended up perfect.
Ends up in a great spot. I would say this approach is probably from about 270 away at least.
Firebird?
Yep, Nate Sexton Firebirds, nice little stall shot.
That was close. From my angle, I thought it was going in for a sec.
Yeah, it's completely blind from where I'm standing. It's pretty thick woods there between where I was standing in the basket. And Chris making it look pretty easy there. And Ricky here, I thought this one was going in. I couldn't quite tell that it was over the basket, but it looked really nice from where we were.
I bet no one's ever been where I am right now.
It took us about a couple minutes to find your disc.
Yeah.
And a nice little putt Was that a P2 there?
Yeah, Steeline P2, nice and overstable. Just, it's like wide open from where I was.
Yeah, probably the easiest approach you're going to get on this hole. I'm sure somebody's going to watch this footage later on today and then tomorrow try going for that route. Because no one else knows about that route besides you and Andrew Rich. That is a secret.
That is complete secret.
And they should definitely put a mandatory up there to stop crazy people like you throwing over people's heads.
I totally agree, but the card behind us was like 5 holes behind us, so we weren't worried about. Oh, actually, they were on that hole. I remember now. But
Here we are tapping in our birdies. Nice card there. 4 birdies is a good score. A little bit off on a tee shot, and you're definitely not coming out with a birdie. So
I'd almost say we might be the only card to have 4 threes on that hole.
yeah, and on to 12, which off the tee is pretty simple. You just throw a tee shot as far as you can, get as far up that hill as you can, and this is one where distance really, really, really is important. If the further you get, the softer you can throw your approach, and if you can just imagine how sloped that tee pad, the green is, it is fast.
Yeah. If you can get a drive to where you can see the basket on your upshot, you're having a huge advantage.
Huge advantage, absolutely. And speaking of huge advantage,
that was huge.
That was pretty big. You're throwing a brand new overstable PD2 and just ripping it up there, just almost close enough to the people on the green where they're like, they could probably hear you if you're a little bit closer.
Yeah.
And Ricky throws his enforcer here. Maybe a bit lower than he'd like, but
it doesn't look like he was going for distance. He was like just trying to place it down the middle.
Right.
He's probably really confident on like throwing that upshot.
I am going for distance, and I got a little bit of a push down there, but still got the ride that I want from my Pro Boss. Can't quite see the basket from there just because of that hill, but close enough that I can jump putt my approach, which is way better than throwing an approach, I feel like.
This hole is so wide open. If I could, I would throw a 360.
Oh, right, with a knee. And a nice rip there from Chris Eads. He's going to leave himself a little hyzer approach. And this is really like...
This is as hard as it gets for upshots.
This is a pucker approach. I mean, just a little bit off and you're going way down the hill. Hitting the right around circle's edge, that's just a pro shot. It's hard to even describe how good that shot is. And Chris skips down. You can see how fast the green is right there with that one. He's going to have about a 35-footer.
Nova jump putt?
Nova jump putt. And I thought that I was going to be about 5 feet from the pin, and you're like, 25 feet? And I was like, no! I did not like hearing 25 feet.
What was that?
And, yeah, that one was a bit surprised for me.
It was a bad upshot, but that is scary. It's just scary to throw to that basket.
And what a solid putt there from Chris. That's a beautiful putt there, uphill, good confidence builder.
I love that he hit that.
Yeah, me too. I was pulling for him. And that's a great putt too. I mean, with that spin putt going down that hill, that's such a confident stroke.
If I would have forward that hole from where my drive was, I would have been really disappointed.
Oh, yeah. And just sneaked it in there, and I'm ready to go to the next hole.
That was like your second or third one that was just like barely left low.
Yeah, well,
good enough. I mean, it's good enough.
It's in there. And Ricky doing his patented stall putt where
Why did he throw the pink one on this one?
He's just started putting with that one too. I don't know why he's doing that, but I mean, he made it. So
yeah, since he's been putting with daggers, he's like just lights out.
Yeah, and I think this is the hardest par 3 in the course besides maybe hole 5, just because it's so uphill constantly. It says it's 353. I think it plays more like 453. You really have to throw a high, tight driver to get the skip and everything you want.
It's just an awkward angle, really. You got to throw it really hard and low and high at the same time. It's weird.
Yeah, and I don't think I saw one shot this good in practice or in any. I mean, this was that's perfect.
Yeah, I was closer in practice, but Ricky going fancy.
This seems like this is something that Ricky can do that I just wouldn't even think of. That this hole is so far uphill that it's out of my personal sidearm range. Just a little bit too far right for him, so he has a tricky putt from there.
Destroyer?
Yeah, I go to Destroyer. It was a lot lower than I wanted to. I was honestly coming up to this shot thinking I was going to have about a 75-foot approach.
I thought so too. I was surprised how far you skipped. That's
Yeah.
tall grass up there.
Right. You don't get too many skips on that grass, so that was a nice result to get up there and see that. And I really can't imagine a harder lefty hole.
No, this hole for lefties is... I think I would go straight at it if I... Like the line Ricky took?
Yeah, that's a line. I know Zach Melton's throwing a roller on it, but it's a tricky hole for lefty.
This course it favors righties a lot, I think.
And I thought Rick had that one in.
Got a good line at it?
Yeah, a little bit of a low ceiling uphill approach, and bam.
That's a cool angle.
That's a great angle. I actually, when that was in the air, I saw Jonathan behind the basket with the camera, and I was like, dude, I can't wait to see that thing again, because I know he got that one perfect.
And you know instantly that's going to be SloMez.
Yeah, of course. That's my first, I think it's my first SloMez ever. So that was cool.
Really?
Maybe, I can't recall another one, but there might be. SloMez is usually reserved to big putts, and I don't think I've had a big putt on camera for a while, so.
Try and go this tournament with one SloMez every round.
Yeah, that's the goal. I guess every round you want at least one SloMez.
I like it.
So 2 birdies there, which is pretty nice. Pretty difficult hole. Happy to come out of there with a birdie, especially after that poor tee shot, but. Hole 14, 520 feet downhill, OB right here in the middle. What a fantastic hole. Elevated basket, just grip it and rip it, but you have to be accurate too, otherwise.
It probably plays more like 450 is because it's so downhill. We had an awkward wind here. We were discussing on the tee pad because we had a little backup.
Yeah.
It was like headwind right to left. It was weird.
The worst possible wind probably for this hole.
Yeah. I pretty much full powered that in the headwind as a first run PD2.
Maybe one of the best shots I've ever seen in my life. We thought it was going in the basket. I mean, this was one of the, like the way that this disc fought the wind and tracked the basket. From right here, we're thinking that's going in. Just came low. I mean, it's hard to really even imagine how good that shot is. If you stand on this tee pad, you realize how far it is.
I even got some claps for that.
Oh, the crowd was opening up here at this point. And this is kind of what I was expecting more of your shot to do, which is just kind of get lifted up in the wind. But no, pretty good tee shot though. I mean, I have a.
Well, it's not really a birdie. It's a birdie look, but that's all you really want on this hole.
No, a birdie is there's bonus holes and there's super bonus, and getting a 2 on this one, I would classify as a super bonus.
Yeah, if it's windy for sure.
And Rick's got a tricky approach. Left side is really, really thick. And there's some holes through there, but a lot of shots you're going to see throwing like little tomahawk approaches over the top of that stuff. And Chris he was so close to getting over the hay bales there, but that's out of bounds. That's going to bring him back about 100 feet or so. And now
probably a lot of players lay up on this hole.
Yeah, if you don't have, I think it's got to be 450. Maybe not quite that much, but maybe about 420 feet to clear the hay bale.
And in the wind, and I don't know, it's just, I see like 50% of the people laying up that hole.
I had a little bit of a run. I was kind of feeling the confidence from the last SloMez putt, so I had a tiny hole, not much to really go for, but Chris chains out right side. He's going to be tapping in for his 5. Rick cleaning up. I was surprised to see Ricky tap out before you. I was like, are you still closer than him? Are you kidding me?
I was really close.
Very close. Awesome birdie there.
If the basket was not on that trunk,
Yeah.
it might have been good.
Yeah, I think that would have gone in. You'd at least chained out, certainly. And not happy about a 5 there, but we got the fireworks there from Simon's 2. So, on to hole 15. Probably... Actually, this is the shortest hole in the course.
Not just the shortest, but the easiest.
Yeah, this is a you birdie this hole, and you go to the next one, and if you don't birdie it...
You birdie this hole, I'd say 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
We should.
Yeah, we should. Just throw a hyzer on the hillside and keep it from going down the hill. There's a little bit... these branches, can reach out and grab your disc, and you can also slide down this hill here, which you have done.
Yeah, that's a really, really bad mistake. I felt not good about that throw.
And I'm just
throwing a driver.
Yeah, I like to throw the fairway driver here just to kind of do exactly what that did there. Just to kind of spike in the hillside, not get much action.
What disc is that?
I think Ricky's throwing his triple X here.
Also a driver.
Yep. For the same result. Pretty much the same
driver on this hole.
Really similar disc. And
again, not a favorable lefty hole.
No, he's going to be about 36 feet away. And makes good. Great
I thought
putt.
he made it. I didn't quite remember. That was good to see.
Yeah, another great putt there from Chris.
Give him SloMez.
I don't know if that was SloMez. He kind of juggled on the left side. No, it was a great putt from Chris, and he's actually had a couple good putts in the last 4 holes actually. And just a little bit off there.
As long as you hit metal, it doesn't look horrible.
Yeah. I felt pretty good about that birdie. Just making a putt's one thing, but making it dead center is it feels a little bit better. And the Ricky Stahl putt where it hits the basket and just stops moving.
Ricky hasn't had many opportunities to hit long putts in this round. He's just been parking everything.
Yeah, he's throwing the disc great.
Yeah.
He's making it really easy. He's kind of sneakily shooting a 9 down through 15 holes. And on to 16, a par 5. You really just want to throw...
What a great lighting for this Overflight here.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
That's beautiful. How pretty is this course? It's awesome. Great piece of property. Tee shot here, you want to throw, I'd say about 450 feet or so. Anywhere between 400 and 500 feet. The hill slopes towards the water, but the water's really out of play off the tee. You're not going to throw it that far. Really, you just want to put yourself in position for one of two things. There's a gap down the middle, or if you come up short enough, then you can throw the spike hyzer over the trees. I finished a little bit too far left and took the spike hyzer out of play, and it's going to make a difficult approach for me. And Ricky turns his defender over a little bit, and he's got it kind of a weird place, but I think he has it over the top shot as well.
Yeah, for us, really, as long as you're not stuck behind a tree, then this is a good eagle chance.
Yeah, I think most players are probably thinking this is a spot to pick up 1 or 2 strokes on the field.
I was trying to throw this really hard, and it just kind of slipped. I didn't like this throw at all, but it ended up still being decent. I guess.
I think you ended up achieving throwing it really hard. You still threw it 500 feet.
Yeah, it felt like a slip.
And Chris, unfortunately, just in one of the few really bad places you can be off the tee, has to lay up. And from where I was standing, I thought this might go to the water, but
that was a perfect layup.
He was like right on water's edge, with a pretty open approach there for his up and down for 4.
You were thinking about this one for a while.
Yeah, there was a lot of options. We had a tricky wind, and Really didn't want to throw the flex down the middle shot. I didn't want to bring the out of bounds into play, but ended up just taking a driver and just ripping it to safety about 70 feet long. And Ricky did give himself enough height, enough distance from his trees to be able to throw the spike hyzer over the top, and lands at 29, 30 feet away.
That was a great shot.
Great look for eagle.
I just got far enough to avoid these branches.
Yeah, the only thing in the way there was probably the limbs by your face, but you
Yeah.
avoided those and threw a really, really nice shot.
That was almost albatross.
I really wish that the camera could have seen the face you made right after that thing came down. You looked at me and were like, woo!
I let it go and was like, oh god, that's going to be really close.
And well done there from Chris. It's going to be a tap-in birdie there for him.
Another jump at Nova. Ooh.
Yeah, I think out of my hand I thought that I was going to roll that thing. Just wanted to match the ground there, make sure it stayed, and job
Ricky
accomplished.
for eagle.
That's
Good 15-footer.
yeah. 29 feet, so it was a nice 19-footer from Ricky there. Makes it look so easy. And
He puts in so much work in his putting, though. You will see him out there putting for 3 hours straight.
yeah. No one works harder on the green than he does. I don't think anyone could take that from him. And 2 tap in birdies there. 6 down for the card. Not too bad.
Arguably, this could be a par 4.
Yeah, I think so too, but I think it's not bad to have eagleable par 5s on the course. So
12 down, 11 down, 10 down. Where's Chris at?
I didn't see, but 17 is. But these last 3 holes are just so difficult. I think this is the hardest tee shot on the course. Getting yourself into position to get down to the green on your second is so difficult. You have this hill to contend with.
The triple Mando. I'm almost surprised they chose this hole for the triple Mando.
I was too, in a way. And this shot looked like he was clean, safe at the fence, but man, even that one was. He hits the brush there. It stops him from going OB. The OB barbed wire line really cuts into the fairway here. And really the objective is to land right by this big tree that you can see on the right side of the screen. Anywhere around that's good. Anywhere where Simon is really difficult. There's really no angle to get to the pin from where that landed.
Yeah, this hole is all about the tee shot.
Yeah, this is.
If you throw a bad tee shot, you're not getting a birdie. If you throw a good tee shot, it's a pretty easy birdie.
This is about as bad as I could throw it, I feel like. Pulled over way too far right, just trying to be safe and avoid the OB, but
You made the Mando at least.
I did make the mandatory. This is a really tricky shot for a lefty. I really feel like to land it where you want for a lefty is just almost impossible.
Unless you throw it really far.
And this was a really, really difficult shot. You'd have to be where I was standing to see what I was contending with, but I had to go between that V branch there, and if I had hit that could have gone about 2 feet.
Yeah, I know. You threw it probably as good as it gets from there.
And I was happy to, and this is just
Really good.
really, really good. Better than most. Certainly better than most.
Every time he throws the harp, he parks it.
Yeah. I think that sounds funny. Harpy parks it. Anyways, Chris has nothing. Like I said, this area here is just death. Simon gets a bit more creative, and I remember you saying that you thought that you were going to be putting or close to the basket.
I was glad I hit my gap because it was a better out than it looked. It was a tough gap to hit. I had a weird stance. I think they call it patent pending for some reason. I don't understand.
I could tell you the story behind that afterwards. Simon, this little approach there, going to tap in for his par. And I'm not thinking anything crazy. Well, actually, I might be thinking something crazy, but I'm not doing anything crazy.
No, if it slopes down behind the basket, you never want more than 15 feet for a par.
Yeah. Tricky green. Incredibly difficult hole. Ricky got a little lucky on the tee shot, but overall made the hole look really easy. I mean, that's...
Yeah, I think in the second round, I'm going to try and go just more left.
Yeah.
Way more left. As long as you're not in the trees on the right, then I think you have a chance for a 3 at least.
I'm going to tap in for the par there. And 3 pars and a birdie is pretty good considering 3 of us were out of position off the tee. All of us managed to scramble pretty well. I think bogeys can come pretty easy on that hole. And on to 18, finally. One of the hardest holes we're going to play on tour, I feel like, to birdie.
This is a true par 4. Yeah, you got to throw 3 great shots to 3 this hole.
I feel like if you birdie this hole, you're picking up 1 to 3 strokes on the field, because this hole, you can get caught up early. If you're going down this straight gap, or as the sucker gap as I'd probably call it.
Wow. Ricky didn't like that tee
No,
shot. And I liked it.
He hated
Dude,
it.
that was good.
I'm throwing what he threw today.
Yeah, me too.
Because that shot looked so easy, and
too.
he was in a great position. This gap is really tough because to get the position that you want, you have to late flip something at like 450 to 500 feet. I was playing pretty well at this point. I really wanted to just get out of here with a par, but kind of got myself caught up in the one bad spot you don't want to be in off the tee over there to the right. So I'm going to be dealing with some thorns. And Chris just laced this one. Beautiful tee shot.
Yeah, he made it look really easy. He didn't try and throw too far. Just get it down the middle. That's like the main key you got to do in this hole.
Right, just put it down the middle, move on. And you had a very fortunate bounce off the tee to get yourself in position to throw a great approach.
Yes.
And you went right through that like Swiss cheese, and now you're up there looking at a pretty easy par.
My second shot didn't get any credit. I thought it was...
Oh, it was a great shot.
I was so pleased with it.
And that needs to curl up quick because there's out of bounds up there to the right, and it does. And I'll have about 250 or so left for my par as well. And that just came up a bit early.
Yeah. I was surprised he chose a sidearm there. He wasn't a great spot. I thought he would have maybe attacked that more.
Yeah, he could have. I thought the same thing as well. I thought that he was going to attack, but...
And on this shot, Ricky was like walking around his card to throw.
Yeah, he had it really
He
close.
leaves it like 3 feet behind his disc.
And he also hated that one as well. He hated his tee shot, and he hated his approach.
Yeah, and now he's putting 10-footer.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what mortars do. They don't skip. The front line X mortars hit the ground and stop. I was a little bit annoyed because I thought my approach was going to leave me about a 10-footer. Instead, I had about 24 feet. And Chris leaves it up the hill. He's going to have a downhill putt for his par. Simon's thinking, maybe I should just throw this one out of bounds.
That was one of the worst upshots in recent memory. Finish strong, Chris.
Oh, no. Maybe a bit too far right side chains, but gave it a good run. Just happened to fall out. And Simon making
That one
good.
felt really good.
Yeah, inside the circle, just doing what you're supposed to do. I don't think you missed an inside the circle putt today.
Actually, not in like 3 tournaments.
Not bad. And Ricky with that huge birdie. Awesome way to finish.
Yeah, 2 bad shots and a putt.
And I'm just going to tap in my par here. That hurts to watch. Can you just bear with me on how hard that is to watch yourself airball a 20-footer? Oh, gosh. I was pretty disgusted with myself.
I was so surprised you airballed a 20-footer.
Well,
Did you overthink it or did you rush it?
Both.
Both.
I overrushed it.
Yeah.
But anyways, finishing the round with 11 down is pretty good. Ricky with an outstanding 51, 13 under, and not too shabby of a 10 down there.
Yeah, that's a good score, but Ricky had no 4s.
Yeah, that probably won't be done again. That's pretty amazing. So, fun first round. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate all the work that Jomez does for their production. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for round 2.
Thank you and peace.